Hey, line for line, ain't no comp in this rap neither.
You waiting line for line, they keep doing numbers. I gave them the game, trust we lit for the summer. Got doctors and artists and athletic speakers. Come learn from my come up, I'm better than people. I'm in love with the grind, I'm in love with the culture. Do this for the fam, do this for Kenosha. You know I got you, Kenosha. If you got the vision, then come a little closer. Let's get it together, line for line with the soldiers. I'm in love with the grind, I'm in love with the culture. Do this for the fam, do this for...
Well. We are back in another very special episode of Line for Line podcast. I have the long-awaited duo in the building. I'll let them go ahead and introduce themselves to the world.
Jason Coker, Evolution Basketball.
Brandon Morris, Evolution Basketball.
And as we get ready to get this episode started, I do have something to play. Very heartfelt audio.
I've been involved with Evolution Basketball for about 4 years now. I played for them, supported for them, and I've been involved with helping with tournaments ran by Evolution Basketball. Being this involved not only made me grow as a basketball player, but as a person as well. They helped me enhance my skills and worked with me to improve in places I needed help with the most. Not only do they teach skills on the court, but they preach sportsmanship and real-life skills that you will take with you forever beyond the game of basketball. I've known both Jason and Brandon for about 4 or 5 years now. Jason was my high school basketball coach at St. Joe's in Kenosha for my 4 years there. And Brandon and I got to know him from always being around to support our high school team and also working with him at tournaments the past couple of years. They have become my support system and also people that I look up to. Jason Coker and Brandon Morris are the definition of leaders. They work hard for the people around them and are constantly putting other people before themselves. They have taught me how to stand my ground, do everything out of love and hard work, and also made me realize that everyone has a story, so be kind because you don't know what they're going through. If you're looking for a program, Evolution Basketball is where it's at. You'll become a phenomenal player, person, and leader by the help of its coaches and faculty like Jason and Brandon. Or if you're looking to join one of our tournaments ran by Evolution Basketball, you'll get high-quality competition, fantastic refs, and faculty that will always make sure your problems are solved and everything is going smoothly. I wouldn't be the Russ I am today if it wasn't for both of them. Thank you for everything, and I love you both.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
How does that feel? You got staff, former players.
Goosebumps.
Had one from Chella too, but she was crying in hers.
Wow.
Yeah. How does it feel knowing that that's the type of vibes that you guys get when it comes to the program that you run?
That's amazing. Number one, just because here we are 20-some years later, and hearing something like that is very humbling. But the fact that Brandon and I met when he was a senior in high school and I was just a meager one of many assistants on the varsity, and then fast forward to 25 years, we're working together and hearing kids that say stuff like that weren't even born when we met.
How's it feeling for you, BMO, over there?
Wow. Speechless. A lot of people often say when it comes to basketball coaches, employers, that we change a lot of kids' lives. But really, for us, because we've said it to each other so many times, these kids are really changing our lives and our perspectives and how we go about each day.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Well, I'm pretty sure a lot of people at home, they really just want to know, what does evolution mean for you guys? How did it get started? Tell us about the groundbreaking work that had to go in to become this big machine that it is today.
Well, ironically, it all started over a burger and a napkin.
For real?
Back at Charcoal Rotisserie. I hit Brandon up once he got back from cross seas, I think.
Yep.
Right? He just returned and said, hey, man, want to meet up with you. Had some ideas. We met up, kind of started drawing it down and speaking about it, and eventually we're like, yeah, let's do this. And we wanted to bring something to the community. Southeastern Wisconsin, I think still to this day, 0 high school state championships, public, private, high school, boys, girls. Like there was a need to help improve the game. The plan was to start off the first year, 2 years with basketball teams and have some camps. Mm-hmm. And then year 2 was tournaments. and we just had a couple a year, and then what we were incorporating was spending a day in the community, giving back. So I mean, we did Habitat for Humanity, Shalom Center. We gave back at our camps, and then it kind of just took off from there. We launched our leagues, and then the training was the last piece. And believe it or not, this November will be 7 years. Yeah. So it's crazy how it's evolved, and here we are now, where our tournament series is really exploded after this past season. We're bringing our teams back after 2 years. Our training platform has grown, but we didn't want to lose sight of who we were and where we came from either.
Mm-hmm. Now, can we just talk a little bit about the basketball background? Because if I'm a parent, never heard of you guys, help me understand why I should bring my kid to your program and what makes you guys valid to hold these positions for basketball.
I'm going to let Brandon start off with his resume. Mine's slightly lighter.
One, overall, I think you got to look at how many opportunities out there for kids to play travel basketball. And there are a few here in Kenosha. There are a few in Racine. And then there are plenty in Milwaukee. But if you're down here in the Kenosha and Racine area, small market area, there's only a couple of travel basketball teams. There are some teams that stay local, just Wisconsin and Illinois. There are a couple teams that kind of go in the Midwest, and then there's teams that have that national schedule. And when you look at those different things and you talk about traveling to practice and so on, I mean, we are one of those that can provide a local, regional, or national type schedule. We may not be like close to being like a shoe team, like some other teams in the area between Kenosha, Racine, and Milwaukee. But again, we're here to provide that opportunity for players that just want to play. And I think that's what's most important versus our resumes. Obviously we've been around the game for a long time. I played high school, college, and professionally. But that doesn't mean that that's why you should join our team. Just take a look at the overall opportunity that we provide for kids in general.
Yes, sir. Anything to add on to that, Mr. Coker?
Yeah, I mean, it probably also helps to take in consideration our resume as far as coaching, is concerned. A lot of my experience was before high school basketball was in the travel world. There's only been really one major stage that I haven't coached on yet, but I've been able to have success throughout the country and definitely get smacked across the face. So, it ebbs and flows. But, like Brandon said, take into consideration, I mean, we started off as an independent that nobody knew about, and we made it up to the shoe circuit. And then we took, we made a decision to go a different direction and try to step up to the next circuit. And then now, we just thought about it. It's about time we would kind of return home, back to our roots. All 6 years, all 5 years of travel teams, we were the largest traveling program in southeastern Wisconsin. It's crazy too, because the first year we didn't even know, you couldn't sign up on a website. We didn't have it. We didn't know who was going to show, we had the first tryouts. I was about ready to get sick. I didn't want it to be bad, and I think we had close to 200 kids or over 200 kids show up, which was like, Brandon and I looked at each other during the midst of chaos of kids everywhere. I made eye contact and like, man. So, but yeah, taking into consideration the experience, running programs, coaching resume, and I think we've earned our respect in the basketball community as good guys that, definitely about the kids.
Okay. Now, can we just talk a little bit about the highly touted programs that you run when it comes to these tournaments? Because you get to see all these exclusive plays, dunks, highlights, people getting rings. You see coaches up on, it looks like podcasts or whatever the case may be, interviews. Just tell us a little bit about what goes into that. It looks like a wild, grand time.
I mean, there's so many things to look at. I think we do attract a lot of teams from all over the Midwest. And what's, I think, special about us, because we're an independent, again, not a shoe circuit tournament company, right? Like the NY2LAs and the Prep Hoops and Nike and Adidas and so on. But there are teams that are what we consider independent teams that want to play against other teams but may not have that opportunity. And somehow, some way, the word travels that, hey, Devon Booker's team is playing in this tournament. How about we get in that tournament and play against them, because we've been chasing them for years and haven't had a chance to play against them. So we see a lot of that going on in our tournaments, which is kind of special. I think from what we've heard, we're affordable for those independent teams, and that says a lot in this market, because tournaments can be very expensive. And I think that's one of the biggest things, parents that are part of this whole travel basketball world don't necessarily know that tournaments are expensive. So I think we try to do the best that we can to make it affordable for independent teams. So, yeah.
Would you like to add to that, JC?
Yeah, there's, to this point, there's additional layers of things that we do that you simply just don't come across at other tournaments. The one thing I think we try to pride ourselves on is when you're at one of our tournaments, you clearly know who's running the tournament. You see them, if there's an issue, you can find them. There's people in place. We have court monitors, which when we started the show, Russ, she was one of them. And, court monitors, if there's issues, usually there isn't, but if there's issues or if we're needed, they know where to grab us. Going into the next tournament series, we're going to have it set up so that both Brandon and I are not tied down anywhere at the entry of the building, which, again, just allows more access. I've been to some very big tournaments and had no idea at any point during the entire weekend who's running this. But we do a lot for the kids, which you're familiar with, the MVP system. It's unique. I don't really know of another organization that runs anything similar to that. We try to eliminate the bias and have the losing coach pick, track that, and then hand out for nationals, we handed out a trophy, but for next year, they're actually going to be MVP belts.
Stop playing around. Like WWE type belt. Stop playing.
Yeah.
Like
what?
WWE style.
Now you're gonna have
when
people
you're
doing
a
a discount
national
double
MVP.
check.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then I think one of the most important ingredients is our rules. We have rules in effect that protect the integrity of the game. The biggest thing I think as a coach, and I would think as a player, when you have a running clock and it's a close game and it's like 5 minutes left. What are we doing? Let's slow down. Clock stops last 5 minutes when it's 10 points or less for the older kids, and then allow them to move the ball after a timeout up to half court, which we've had how many buzzer beating shots or opportunities just in the last tournament series, and it provides for an electric atmosphere.
What would you say you guys look forward to the most as you guys keep getting bigger, keep gaining traction, keep garnishing attention? Because I see you guys are partnering up with not Sports Center, but Sports Center-esque type of vibes. Tell us a little bit about that.
I think it's, for me, every basketball fan, basketball player, basketball mom, dad, coach, when you bring Line for Line podcast to a tournament and you have them interviewing players, you have them interviewing coaches, parents, just spectators, I think it just brings a totally different vibe, because that's what you see at the big Nike Adidas tournaments. You see the cameras with the lights and the interviews, and players really feed into that. Coaches really feed into that. And I think that's just one thing that's slightly different than a lot of the tournaments. And I think from what I've heard, there's a lot of coaches and players that really look forward to that.
Stop playing.
So I think it was an important add to our tournament series, as well as something very special, especially in the digital world that we live in now today. Everybody's about the videos, everybody's about the reels, everybody wants to see their own highlights, to see their kids. So I think it's special. I think it will be duplicated in the future.
One thing I'd like to add to that, too, is when we came to market, our number one thing was going to be officiating. And, you know, I think you could ask any one of our officials the way that they're treated at our tournaments, the way they're protected, if you will, you know, set up to work in an environment where we got their back. You know, if there's a parent or a coach, you know, getting out of line, we remove them. We don't care. That's another reason why we have court monitors. As soon as they hear something or see something, we're there. Boom. And if they don't calm down, they're gone. And not to mention, you know, we pay above market for our officials. It doesn't mean that we end up having the best officiating, but man, it's not bad overall when you compare it to different places that you go. And we're able to get the people. We had Division I college officials at our nationals, men's officials at our nationals. That does not happen all the time.
Nice.
You know, all of our national championship games, we had 15 of them going on, all 3-man crews. You know, so if we can provide that experience that, you know, people want to return to, I think it helps us moving into the upcoming tournament season.
Yes, of course.
And I don't know if we put it all together, but we are intentional about being like this wraparound service. So it's not just about basketball. It's also about the officials. It's about the spectators' experience. It's about the players, our employees. I mean, it's all wrapped into one where we want to make this overall experience the best experience.
Well, it kind of looks like that. I don't know if you guys said, my eyes keep wandering, but I keep seeing like some pretty flashy stuff here on the TV. I see you, like, your guys' staff going crazy, smiling. I see the players smiling. I see parents smiling. I see coaches smiling. It looks like it's a pretty great atmosphere. So with my next question being, a lot of people want to know, just tell us a little bit about the partnerships and the tournaments that you guys got going forward now that we're getting ready to approach that season for you guys as well.
Yeah, that was the past 30, 45 days has been an amazing ride. Excuse me, for Brandon and I. It's been very busy, but it's been nice because it's been laid back, if that makes sense. We were able to establish a partnership with Be the Beast, which is an incredible technological platform that's going to help provide stats, help to provide exposure, and as well just have a better viewing or streaming experience if you're one of those parents that, you know, you're at Johnny's baseball game, you know, your daughter's playing in a basketball game, the streaming capability is much better. The facilities for the next tournament season, everything is at an 8-court facility. It's been awesome. You know, we're getting a new banner. We upgraded all of our logos, and then now, you know, with the Rockford facility, we have 2 tournaments there. Then we have one back at the Champion Center, and then, you know, the rest are at the Recplex, and those are 3 of the top 5 8-court facilities in the Midwest.
Shout out to the Recplex.
Yeah,
right in our own backyard. You know, you don't gotta worry about bringing all your equipment. This long hike. You know, that's right across the street from me, right here where I'm at now. You know, so it feels like I forget some equipment. Oh, I'll be right back. I'm just going right across the street. You know, so it's like it's good.
Well, and it was kind of Brandon's idea too. When we were talking about, wait a second, like why don't we bring this back to our area and help boost, you know, the hotels here, help boost the restaurants, and and it just made more sense. I remember thinking about it after you had said it, and I'm driving to the Plex to go work out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we even added the BMO Classic, by the way.
Saw the new logo you guys
Yes.
got for that. It was a pretty cool idea. Pretty neat idea. I saw it.
Yeah, it was cool. We got a chance to be kind of like named each other's tournament and kind of came up with the logo and the color schemes and stuff with it. So it was kind of cool to compliment each other, I guess.
Yep.
Gotcha.
The Coach Coker Blue Chips. So we grew up on the movie Blue Chips.
Mm-hmm.
And you knew if you were a blue chip or considered a blue chip, you were one of the best players in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we attract those players to our tournament. And I guess also when you think about like our whole tournament series and then bringing it back to our hometown to boost our local economy, man, what better place to be in your backyard and bringing some of the best teams across the country right here to this city, and then having teams from our city and our area take part in the tournaments.
Yeah.
So
they don't have to travel.
They don't have to travel. It was a
having to
no-brainer.
travel.
Yeah.
Now
Having like a national championship right here in our hometown. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
Gotcha. Now, as we get ready to close out this phenomenal episode, what's the mark that you guys want to leave behind when it does come to the name Brandon Morris, Jason Coker, and Evolution Basketball?
Ooh, that's
Somebody
a great.
hopefully winning a damn high school state championship. Can we please bring one to the K? Please.
Yes. Again, it goes back to providing multiple opportunities selfishly for Kenosha, but ultimately just for basketball lovers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, providing that best tournament experience they can have. And we're hosting tournaments from, I got to include leagues in there too. So we're hosting leagues starting this late September 25th. We'll start off with our league, and we'll go from September all the way until July. Mm-hmm. So providing a basketball experience that many people can enjoy. And when we look back on it, I don't know, 5, 10, 30 years from now, we hope that we provided, the best opportunity possible for these basketball lovers.
Mm-hmm. And as we close out, I want to give my testament as well, too, since I'm here in person. I felt nothing but love from day one when it comes to Evolution Basketball. I was even lucky enough to get a championship ring. So I was like, I had the opportunity to flex on Instagram with my little ring and all that. You don't know how much my phone was blowing up after that with that gold ring. I was like, okay, we see you. But yeah, I just want to say I'm thankful for you gentlemen for even making me part of the family, making me part of the team, and giving me the opportunity to increase my skills and my knowledge when it comes to the things that I do with my brand as well. So I just want to say thank you to you guys as well.
Yeah, you've been very helpful in helping us too. So it goes both ways. You go on our site now. There's tons of videos that you can see on our YouTube page, our social media. I did the videos before. You can see a clear difference. Difference.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to add before we close out?
And just with that, man, we respect the work that you do, your team that you have, and the work that you guys put in over time. And we want to ink out a deal where it's a partnership with Evolution and Line for Line, because what you bring to the table to our tournament series kind of like seals the deal. It's almost that last piece that we wanted to our tournament series. So sometime in the near future, we need to ink that deal out and complete that for our tournament series.
Let's go. Anything else you want to add to that?
Then let's do that before we kick off our tournament series, because we're going to be too busy. But the last thing I'd like to throw out there too, our fall prep league, we ran that this will be our 6th season. We did it in southeastern Wisconsin, and it grew and it grew. And then this year, we're opening up a North Division, and then also adding a middle school section to it for boys and for girls. So, for kids in Milwaukee or the Milwaukee area, we want you to come out, play in the North Division. We bring them all together at the end of November, at the end of the league, or the first week in November. at the end of the season. And you can go on our site, evolutionbasketball.org, and they can check that out and sign up on their own.
Sure. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's been Brandon, that's been Jason, and that's been your host with the most, Devon Booker. You just listened to an episode of Line for Line Podcast.
You calling or you listening, tune in every week. Line for line. Oh yeah, I'm going line for line.